Welcome already to another edition of WCW 2006 here in TW 2020, and even though it is tradition for me to do a sort of like mid-year wrap-up, since I'm moving over to TW 2020, and I'll have to do like a whole basically preview once I move over from TW 2022 to TW 9, I decided just to do the mid-year awards this time around, and then we'll do the usual deep dive into everything as far as the actual whole roster and the whole wrestling world as I move over to TW 9 and sort of a special deal there. So we will also be doing the mid-year awards. So we're gonna have male wrestler of the year, female wrestler of the year, tag team of the year, show of the year, feud of the year, all that sort of fun stuff. And that'll start this week, starting with the first July shows, going through the end of July in game. So we start out with the male wrestler of the year. Of course, AJ Styles has been the world champion for the entirety of the year, so probably a heavy favorite. We got Brother Ray, who of course had several big wins, including over Eddy Guerrero, and eventually turned heel. Has been a main heel since then. Kurt Angle, who of course showed up on the first show of the year, has been very explosive since then. Being dominant, beating feudalist thrillers, being basically the number one or number two guy on Revolution. Then we got Monty Brown, who's been absolutely dominant, only having one draw, and taking out Judas Mesias in the Sunside Deathmatch, and just recently is going to challenge AJ Styles for the world title, and Rob Van Dam, who has been Rob Van Dam for most of the year. The other award is Women's Wrestler of the Year, which will be up on Wednesday, and that starts out with All Out Alyssa Alexander, who of course won the Women's World Championship at Sacrifice and been rising up before that. We have Gail Kim, who is has been a pretty solid member of the Revolution, feuding with Alli Danger since they broke up. Nikita Kalt, who of course started the year as champion and held the title at Sacrifice. Penny Grable, who rose up and got big wins over Celine Cartier and Trisha Sky and challenged for the Women's World Championship, and Trisha Sky, who has been Trisha Sky. And then this will be up on Friday, so I'll make another mention of it then. But on Friday, we have Tag Team of the Year. Booker T and Shelton, of course, held the titles through the early part of the year, losing titles as part of Aerial Assault 3 at Slamboree. Legendary Kid Films, who have been very successful in starting to team up. Nikkei, Kaz and Yang, who are, of course, very successful throughout the first part of the year before Kaz challenged for the title. The Social Scene, who are women's world champions, women's tag champions through the start of the year through May, and Ray Jr. and Matt Sydal, who won the tag titles in May. So let's get rolling now with the actual show. And we are live in front of 12,000 people in beautiful Billings, Montana, as the show starts with Eddy Guerrero's music hits as Viva Guerrero, and he gets a big old heel pop as he comes down to the ring, as he says, so that's how it is. Huh? Fato, you people think it's funny, you think it's cute that Goldberg decided to stick his big bald head into my business last week? Oh, you love him, but I bet you loved when he came to the ring thinking he was Superman, spearing me and cost me the match against AJ Styles in that 6-man last week. Big pop for that. Let me tell you something. I don't care how much you cheer for him. I don't care how big and bad Goldberg thinks he is, because I've already beat him. Ask Eric and Bash, I beat Goldberg right in the middle of this ring, and he knows it. But that wasn't enough for him. Nah. Goldberg had to come back and try to embarrass me the whole world. Well, guess what, Holmes? You embarrass yourself because you got played. I beat you once, I'll do it again, but I'm going to do it on my terms. Big, heel pop for that. But then Goldberg's music hits, doing a big pop of his own, and he gets in the ring, and he says, you want to talk playing games, Eddie? You got lucky at the Bash using a damn metal plate. But last week, I made sure you didn't walk away with it or wins. You can talk all you want, but the truth is, if you had any cojones, you get back in this ring with me tonight and settle this once and for all. Big pop for our big match. And Guerrero's like, okay, you want to go again, Goldberg? Is that what you want? Really, S.A.? You want me to get back to the ring as you're trying to redeem yourself? Well, here's the thing, hermano. I don't need to prove anything to you. I already beat you once, and as far as I'm concerned, that's all I need to do. But I do like you watching you sweat, so that's what I'm going to do. You want to fight tonight? That's fine, Bill. You'll get your fight, but not with me. No. You see, I'm smarter than that, and I've been thinking ahead. You see, I've taken the liberty of hiring a little protection. So tonight, you're not facing me. Oh, no. Tonight, you're facing one-on-one, so I'm going to make sure you don't lay a finger on me. Titus Tomko. Goldberg's like, Tomko, you think he's going to stop me from getting you? Fine, I'll take him out tonight, no problem. And after I take out the leader of Tomko Predictions, guess what, Eddie? You're next. Big pop as we get a stare down, as this gets a 99, and fun stuff as we basically set up our main event of Goldberg versus Tomko for tonight on Nitro, which gets us a 99 because these guys are really good. Fun stuff. Then we have our opening match, which has Lexi James takes on Lizzy Dumas. And, Dumas is still getting, a mixed reaction because, she's been basically heel since she arrived here in WCW. But back and forth match, and God dang it. Okay. I guess I didn't mark it as a DQ, right? I guess, okay. I forgot to mark it as a DQ. Okay. So what this should have been is a DQ finish, like, back and forth match. Lizzy Dumas actually hits the twist of fate, is heading up for the moonsault, but out comes Desiree Dawkins and Penny Rabel for the beatdown. And as, the crowd boos, goes for a DQ. 63 overall here. Lexi gets a 61, Lizzy gets a 60. Beatdown, but then to a big pop, Trisha Sky comes out and, basically runs out and basically, scares Captivation away. And this gets a 62. And we have, let me actually not do this quite yet. Your Captivation beatdown, Trisha safe to a 62. Trisha slowly helps Lizzy up, and there's a bit of an awkward, situation as the entrants go over their history. But now, it seems like Trisha has decided to help out Lizzy Dumas in her war against Captivation. And that gets a 62, like I said. Then we're backstage. Jeremy Barash is with Ray Leppan, and he has beside him Reckless Roberts and Tracy Roberts, as Barash asks him about his tag match later tonight against has been announced as Lance Storm and Maverick Chance. And Leppan's like, it's a disgrace. I'm the biggest international star in WCW. Look at me. And week after week, I've had to put up with this piece of trash Maverick Chance in my business. You think because he rides around on a motorcycle, does some jumps, and flies around that he thinks he's at the level of the United States Champion? No, and that's why I've got someone who's kicked his ass before, and will be able to do it again to shut him down while I deal with Lance Storm. Tracy Roberts says, that's right, Reckless, when he was Cruiserweight Champion, happily took on Maverick Chance. And tonight, he'll be in the ring with Ray Leppan, and they will take him apart and show just how great we're both of my brother and Ray Leppan is. Decent little promo here, basically setting up the tag match for later tonight, and this gets a 64. Then we're backstage, as, basically we've got, Jamie Noble and Ray Wardy backstage, doing Jamie Noble and Ray Wardy stuff, and Noble's like, you see what happened there last week? That right there's what you call good old Southern style. Anderson Truth thought they could hang with us, but we showed who's out here, and Ray says, that's right. We're not the back team at WCW. We're the real kings of Southern wrestling. Anybody who steps to us is going to listen to what real Southern boys can do. Because we're the Southern Syndicate, and we do what we do best. Kick ass and take names. And then, as they're, both laughing, here comes America Was Wanted to a big pop. And Harris is like, Kings of Southern Wrestling, huh? That's real cute, boys. Real cute. And Storm's like, you might have got lucky last week against Anderson and Truth, but don't go acting like you're the kings of anything. We're America's Most Wanted. Last I checked, we've got more championships and more wins than either of you can dream of. And Harris is like, we haven't forgotten about Slamboree either. You boys got the better of us that night. Here's the thing. We don't take losses like that lightly. So we're here to let you know it's time for some payback. And I was like, payback? You boys got another shot at Southern Syndicate? You think you can handle another beating? Because at Slamboree, we proved we're the best tag team in this company. And we got this close to being the tag team champions. But if you want another crack at us, we'll be happy to again. Who the real kings of Southern tag team wrestling are. And after we're done with you, you have two choices. Tap or snap. And Harris is like, the difference between now and then is we got our heads back in the game. You got us off guard at Slamboree, but next time there's not going to be any surprises. Next time we're going to show you why America's One has been at the top for so damn long. And Storm, you can talk about all you want about your wins. When we get you in that ring, we're going to remind you, you're just another couple wannabes trying to take our spot. And trust me, boys, you ain't ready for what's coming. And sorry about your damn luck. So there you go. Nice little stare down. 77. And setting up a match for next week. And then we have another basically squash match here. Don't worry. We'll be doing something with these guys soon. Just have to set some things up. As Kazi and Ken Suzuki basically squash Rave and Great Suzuki in 6 minutes when Ken Suzuki pins Great Suzuki. This gets a 68. Kenzo gets a 41. Yang gets a 77. Kaz gets a freaking 97. Suzuki gets 64, Moore gets a 46, and Rave gets a 63. Just as a little reminder, Suzuki doesn't work Sundays. Like he's in a Michinoku Pro, I believe, and he is a booker or the owner there, so I can't really book him on those shows. So unfortunately, I can't really push him the way I want. But he's on here. He's still a decent in-ring guy, so here we are. And post match, of course, he'll celebrate to a 68. And then backstage, we're with Trisha Sky and Lizzy Dumas as, she steps up and says, look, Trisha, I just want to say thank you for coming out there. I didn't expect it, especially after, everything. And Trisha's like, look, I'm sure you did. Despite everything happened between us, despite all the fights, all the rivalries, you and I, we've helped build this. We helped rebuild women's wrestling from a total afterthought. And I could just stand by you, let those three gals tear you apart. And Lizzy's like, you're right. We went through a lot together, a lot of bad, but sure, we fought to make women's wrestling what it makes today. And Trish said, look, whatever issues we had, we're part of something bigger, and sometimes you got to put that all that aside and remember where we came from. They can't take that from us. And, Lizzy says, I guess you're right. And, well, it means something to hear that. So, again, thank you. And then we hear the voice of Celine Cartier, and she says, oh, so now you're all buddy-buddy. Come on. You're out there saving her after everything, after what she did to me, after what she did to you. I thought we had more sense than that, Trisha. And Trisha's like, look, Celine, I don't know what this is about. Tonight was about picking sides. It was about stopping what Captivation was doing, what they've always done, taking people out when they can't get what they want. And Celine's like, oh, so you're all hauling out? Let me remind you. When she was in charge of Captivation, she didn't care about taking people out. She wasn't calling shots. Remember what she did to me? The mind games, the attacks. And you want to play the victim now just because you got turned on? You ran Captivation and you made my life a living hell, and now you're the one who needs saving? And Trish is like, look, I get it, Slade. I don't lead it. What Lizzy did, what she did with Captivation, that was about that. It's about stopping her from doing more damage. And they're like, you really think she's changed? Leopards don't change her spots, and she doesn't change her thongs. Just because she got a taste of her own medicine, people like her don't change. They just get caught in their own game. And Trisha's like, look, I'm not saying she's perfect, but we all know what Captivation is capable of. If we don't stand together against them, they're going to keep us picking us one by one. And things like, maybe we're willing to stand by her side after everything she's done, but I'm not. I don't forget that easy. And then she walks away. And there we go, 60, and we are officially turning her babyface. And her new gimmick of Women's Wrestler truly got a rating of very good, and the turn was complete success. Good stuff. And then we have basically a Fallen Angel video package, and we're in a dimly lit room, a peaceful, a single beam of light in the shadows, and he says, there's a time when I walked in darkness, when I believed in cause that was not my own, a time when I followed blindly, searching for redemption in the wrong places, in the wrong hands. I thought by serving his other visions and following a message, I would find the peace I so desperately sought. I mean, these are like images from his past, him, with Deadpool, with the Nest, and so forth. I was wrong. I was misguided. I served false prophets, a man who spoke for redemption but only led to chaos, men who manipulated those around him to further his own twisted desires. And Raven, you promised me salvation, a higher purpose after the end of Deadpool. You said we would be the voice of those who have been cast aside. We would be the broken to enlightenment, but instead you led into madness. You twisted the words of truth and turned them into weapons. You created destruction, but not for justice, but for your own ego, for your own gain, for your own misbegotten desires, for your own internal hate. But no more. I found my own path. Will not build in lies and manipulation, but for the truth that lies within me. And I return the ring, not for you, Raven, not for Nest, but for myself, for my own redemption. I must find that, I must face the ones who once stood beside me. I must challenge those who continue to follow false prophet. Prophet, Red Rum, and eventually you, Raven. It doesn't matter which of you answers the call. When you will face me, when you step in that ring and feel the wrath of a man no longer bound by any man's lies. You will turn what redemption looks like, and I prove my cause is righteous, though my path is just. I have risen from the ashes of lies, Raven, and now I stand alone as a fallen angel. There we go, 72, good promo. Let's see here. Okay, low morale, which I'll have to look up and see what's going on with that. Probably just upset over lack of time. So we have. So then we have our in-ring segment as Cassidy O'Reilly is in the ring with Misty, and he says, Cassidy says, all right, who's going to be? I'm waiting all night to see what poor sap is stupid enough to make in hand with the Cruiserweight champion. And Misty's like, come on, Cassidy, baby, don't get too worked up. Whatever comes out here is a real threat to you. Heck, they're probably even a real man. And then we hear some basically rip-off Rocky music as up comes, smaller but still in shape, younger black guy, and he comes up to the ring doing some shadow boxing and rolling in the ring. Mike Tenay on basically, on commentary says, wait a minute, that's Austin Creed. He's a rising star in the independent scene. Now he's here in Nitro. Folk, this young man has been making waves all over the country. And he's now here to answer Cassidy open challenge. And Cassidy's like, wait, seriously? They let you in here? Did you just sneak in backstage or something? And Misty's like, oh honey, I think you might have got lost. This isn't some small time show in front of 500 people. You're in the big leagues now, and I'm not quite sure you measure up. And Austin takes the mic and says, you know, I heard a lot of talk in my life. People doubted me, think I wasn't good enough, thinking I didn't belong, but let me make things clear. I fought my way up to the ranks, and now I'm standing here in this ring, ready to prove that I belong in WCW. And if you think I'm not a real man, let's get started. I'll show you exactly what I'm made of. And boom, 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 some quick jobs, and the match is on. 40, because Creed's not over at all, but it is what it is. Then we go to the match itself, and it actually gets a 56, which is better than I expected. So basically the match here is like Austin gets a little bit of heat early. Eventually Cassidy O'Reilly takes over, and he hits a 2 quick, finisher-like maneuvers and goes to pull him up for a third one, but Creed turns it into a small cradle. 1, 2, 3, and Austin Creed has pinned the Cruiserweight Champion here in his debut here live on Nitro. This gets a 56, Cassidy gets a 57, Creed gets a 45, and post-match, Cassidy and Misty freak the hell out to a 31. And then we get another video, as, we're in a dimly lit backstage area, and, Brother Ray says, for years I've been in this business, busting my ass, breaking bones, spilling blood, all in the name of one damn thing, respect. That's what's all about, respect. It's what I've always wanted. It's what I've always demanded. It's what I've taken time and time again. Because I'm a street survivor. I'm a battler. But lately, I've been hearing people whispering behind my back, talking about me, calling me names. People I've been saying I'm a bully. A bully? Deciding people shouldn't be around. That I went after truth and Anderson even after we settled things at St. Blurry. But I couldn't let it go. I'm the guy who doesn't stop even when the fight's over. And you know something? Maybe they're damn right. Maybe I'm a bully. You see, I've been busting heads my entire career, and I've never apologized for it. I put people through tables, I've beaten them down, I've made sure they never forget the name Brother Ray. But you want to call me for that? Fine, call me a bully. That's exactly what I am. I'm just not Brother Ray anymore. No. You can call me Bully Ray. That's right, Bully Ray. And this ring, this arena, this is my ring now. I don't care if you're truth. I don't care if you're Ken Anderson. If you're some punk who thinks you can stand up to me, this is my territory, and if you step into it, you better be ready to get knocked down and battle and bleed. People always say that I'm the mean one, the tough one, the guy who doesn't care about anybody thought, and they're right. For the longest time, I stayed in my lane. What they got me? What did that ever get me? Nothing. No respect, no appreciation. People just walk through me like, oh, Ray's a good guy. He's fighting the hard fight. No. I'm just not that guy who puts people through tables and get a pot from the crowd. I end careers. I hurt people. I cause riots. I make sure they never forget who they step in the ring with. And truth, Anderson, you're just the ones in front of me. I didn't go after you again because I had to, because I wanted to. Because you stood there still thinking you were on my level, thinking you could disrespect me, and that's where you messed up. That's where everyone messes up. I need everybody in that locker room to know exactly who I am. I'm not here to shake hands, kiss babies. I'm here to hurt people and win matches. So yeah, call me a bully. I embrace it. Because the truth is, I've always been the guy who didn't care about being liked. I didn't care about being loved. In the past few months, year, whatever you want to say, I've been around. I've been doing the wrong damn thing. I want one thing, control of this ring, of this company, and everybody. So anybody who wants to step up, you're going to hurt the hard way. When you step in the ring with me, it's not a match, it's a fight. It's not a fight, it's a beatdown. From now on, everybody in WCW is going to learn one thing real quick. I run this ring, and if you got a problem with that, well, step in the ring with me and find out what happens, because I'm Bully Ray. 86, and there we go. So we got the official name change, and yeah. So then we come back for commercial, and we're backstage with Jeremy Borash, is with the Evolution team of Ric Flair, Buster Lashley, and Claudio Cesaro. And, Borash, asked basically, after the 8-man person tag match against Lamborghini, against the Nest, many people are wondering what's next for Evolution. And Flair says, Jeremy, let me stop you right there. What's next for Evolution? Let me tell you something, baby. Well, Lamborghini, we bit off more thing with you. I admit it. We had to deal with a bunch of weirdos, creeps, and straight-up lunatics like the Nest. But guess what? Even the great stumble sometimes. What makes Evolution? We always get back up. Woo! Look at these two men. Buster Lashley, a machine, the most dominant force in world professional wrestling, all-American wrestler, Claudio Cesaro, the best pure athlete in the business today. These two are the future of the business. They are blue chippers, the guy that everybody in this locker room should be terrified of. The nature boy knows how when he sees it, Jeremy. These two men, they're the real deal. You can bet your bet on dollar on. But there's something else I noticed, Borash. We're dealing with the Nest. There's no situation stewing. A certain Jeff Jarrett got turned on by those chosen few, Johnny Devine and Tank Toland. Now let me clear, Jeff Jarrett and I, We've never been close friends, buddies, pals, drinking partners. But one thing about Jeff Jarrett that I do respect, and that's the fact that he used to be part of the greatest faction in wrestling history, the Four Horsemen beside me. And that's one thing I don't stand for. It's a Four Horsemen getting turned on by a couple nobodies like Tolan and Divine. I've got love for Jarrett, but to see him get backstabbed by a couple of, well, let's just say, ham and eggers, that doesn't sit right with me. So here's the deal, Tolan and Divine. You think you're special. You think turning on Jarrett makes you big players in this business. Let me give you a little advice. Get your butts to the ring and face Evolution. Let's see how tough you are when you stand there swinging from Lashley and Claudio. Let's see what you got to tag with the big boys. Whoa, because let me tell you something, boys. Evolution doesn't forget, and we sure doesn't forgive. You want to be stab someone in the back? That's fine. You want to be the ones laying in the back, staring at the lights, we just hit you? You know what? That's just a prediction. That's a fact. There you go. A challenge against a Chosen from, Evolution, which gets a 66. Fun stuff. Then we have Sling Cartier take on Ariel Moore, and she gets a win in a little under 6 minutes with this list of 8. And this is basically a beatdown. Like, this is far more aggressive than normal, and the Entrance sort of put that over, and she just, absolutely drops a Moore with this list of 8, and then walks away after getting the win to a 61. And then we're backstage. Ooh, Stacey's gimmick is getting stale. That's unfortunate. All right. Anyway, sorry, had to check on that. Anyway, so we cut backstage, and Ken Anderson is pacing back and forth. He's basically still upset. Punching lockers, pushing stuff off random tables in the back. Upset over what's been happening the past couple weeks. Can't believe it. We get pursued by Southern Syndicate. Bully Ray Sixers knows the business. Alex Wright thinks he's special because he beat me. I swear to God, I'm going to go out there right and knock somebody's teeth down their throat. And Truth is like, look. Come on, man. And believe me, I want payback as much as you do. Right now, we gotta think this through. We go up there all out and we're just giving exactly what they paid for. And they're like, what they want, get away with this crap. Bully Ray wants to act like he's untouchable. Chosen wants to act like they're big shots because they turned on Jarrett. Southern Syndicate want to act like they're big old stars now that they beat us. And Wright's acting like he's actually one of the top guys in this business because he hit me with a DDT on a damn chair. And she was like, I'm with you on that, but we got smart about this. You have to Bully or Chosen or right now, and you're playing their game. You gotta be 2 steps ahead, not acting like wild men. Anderson, still pacing, frustrated, and he's about to respond when the door locker room opens, and in comes Walker, Stacy Keebler with Cass running beside her. And Anderson's like, oh, great, just what we need. And Stacy's like, well. Physically, Ken Anderson still upset a little bit last week, huh? Can't say I'm surprised. After all, not everybody can handle a little disappointment. And Anderson's like, you think this is funny, Stacy? This is all some kind of game? I mean, look at your guy there. Didn't he lose last week? Didn't he lose at the pay-per-view? So he's like, come on, Ken. Lighten up. Aren't you the guy who's all laughing and funny and calling everybody a-holes all the time? But you know what? Maybe I do think it's a little funny watching you throw your little tantrums every week. It's almost like you're predictable. Yes, Kaz lost at the pay-per-view, but we're moving forward. You're still stuck where you are. Because Kaz has talent, and you're just a funny guy. And she was like, all right, Stacy, we get it. You had your fun, but if you're just stir the pot, why don't you keep moving? Ain't nobody got time for this. And he's like, what? From where I'm standing, you two have all the time in the world. After all, what else do you have going for you right now? And she was like, Stacy can talk all you want, but we're not going to let you get in our skin. And let's take your boy Kaz over here. Maybe after losing AJ Styles, he wants to get that ring again and prove himself. And let me tell you something. I'm ready to get in that ring and kick some ass myself. And Stacey's like, you know what? That's fine with me. You see, I'm not some manager scared my client get in the ring. I'm happy for Kaz to get in that ring and kick your head off and show that he is still among the top competitors in WCW today and prove in KO their investment continues to be a worthy one. So there you go. A match set up. 81, not bad. Then we have our tag team matchup, Maverick Chance and Lance Storm taking on Ray Leppan and Rick Roberts. Pretty straightforward match here, nothing fancy. In the end, Maverick Chance gets another win over Ray Leppan with a roll-up. After Leppan is going for a finisher on Storm, but Storm basically blocks it, and we get a bit of chaos. But Maverick Chance gets another big win over the U.S. champion here. This gets a 69, Storm gets a 72, Chance gets a 61, Reckless gets a 61, Ray Leppan gets an 85. And the babyfaces go right to a 52. And then we're backstage which this did not go well at all. Wow. Anyway, we're backstage as, Cartier's, backstage, but, after her match, and OB's like, Celine, there wasn't really a point to doing all she did. Like, that more girls just starting out this business. You didn't have to kick her around like that. And Celine's like, why should I care what you say? I'm doing my own thing, okay? Are you being Trisha's little errand girl? Because I don't need to hear from you or anybody, okay? And she walks away. 48, because unfortunately not great, but what can you do? We got a original recap focusing on the return of Mesias, and then we have our main event, which, oof, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a Goldberg main event match. What can you expect? 10 minutes, Goldberg, squash. Tomko gets his spots, and eventually, boom, wham, spear, jackhammer. There we go, 78. And post-match, Goldberg is celebrating. Goldberg, Eddy Guerrero runs and attacks from behind. And looks like he's looking for another brainbuster on the chair, but Goldberg slips out, tosses Eddy. Eddy gets up, Goldberg's ready for a spear, but Eddy gets out of the ring before that can happen, and the two men stare each other down, 2 on the show, which gets us 100, and overall, the show itself gets an 87. So, I mean, if we're being honest here, the show is saved by the opening and closing, which I sort of guessed. Like, this was sort of a risky stuff, because I didn't have, I didn't have, a lot of my, top guys in, either long angles or matches. I just wanted to see if, 2 of my top guys could just carry the whole damn thing. And they sort of could. I mean, there was still, there was a good promo from Bully Ray and some other fun stuff, but that was really just the Eddy Goldberg, and a bunch of, just moving stuff forward in the middle. Which is what you expect after pay-per-view, Alright, let's see here. Auto-saving. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. Oh, so, okay. Interesting thing is, Kane's contract ran out. I did not sign him because I didn't have a good idea for him. And also, he's not that good. Honestly, there's a thought in me to bring him in for a short run to do jobs to all my big guys. And that's something I still might do. Depends, maybe, if I bring him in, I would probably do something wacky with him, but, it would be a short-term thing. But regardless, he was sort of just out there. But then what happened was he had interest in Big Japan, which brought an interest from New Japan and now Noah. So that might kill my idea. Mail-wise, yeah. Let's see here. So if we look at, Nitro. Oops, sorry. If we look at Raw, got an 88, including a random 100 match of Jericho and Michaels defeating Show and Lion. Batista defeating Vampiro again. Molly Hollister, your women's champion. Maven, Bradshaw, and Edge defeating CM Punk and TNA. They defeated Rick Steiner in a 50. These 2 guys should not be on TV wrestling. Amber James, aka the former Amber O'Neal, got a win. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, I forgot to check this, show you guys this. So I'll just do this now real quick while I'm thinking about it. So WWE did have a pay-per-view, Extreme Rules. It was an extremely weird show as far as booking wise. So we had Finley defeat Joey Matthews, which isn't that weird, but still kind of weird. We had Rick Steiner defeat Adam Jacobs, Juby Juice defeat Grandmaster Sexy, and probably actual decent match. Amber James defeat Jamie Keys. CM Punk and Tessa Albert defeated Viscera, Salmon, and Maven in a 79. Molly Holly retained the women's world title in a 4-way over Beth Phoenix, a 3-way, and Angel Oscura. So not bad there. JBL defeated DP in a cage match. Peace defeated Vampiro in a cell match. Christian defeated Steven Richards in a 96. And the main event, Shawn Michaels and Edge teamed up to defeat Big Show and Skyfall Cave Lion. Now you may be noticing here, Chris Jericho is your world champion, and he only did a promo. Very weird. Very bad booking. Could be worse. Could have been a Big Show. Also, I forgot to mention this. So, as a quick overview of the in-game mid-year awards, Jericho was the Wrestler of the Year. We were the Company of the Year so far. Kobashi and Akiyama were the Tag Team of the Year. No Great Voyage was the Show of the Year. Misko was the Young Guy. Akane was the Old Guy. Toshi Yamamatsu was the Women's Wrestler. And Otani was the Independent Wrestler. But, I'll be back in just a moment with Revolution. And welcome everybody to Revolution, live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in front of 13,000 people. And we start out with the announcers, going over a big tag main event. But I forgot I put Billy Kidman here because I thought he was in the main event, but he's in the opener. But the big tag main event is Sean O'Haire and Mark Jindrak for the third, taking on Paul London and Jack Evans, as this gets a 69. We go to our opening match, which is going to be Kidman and Helms first coming out and revealing that they're tag team partner for the six-man tonight against the tag team champions, Rey Jr., Matt Sydal, and Shelton Benjamin. It is going to be Ray Leppan, as this gets a 71. Then we have the six-man match, which is a wild old six-man match, which you perfectly expect what's going on here. We've got Mysterio, Sydal, Benjamin, Kidman, Helms, and even Leppan, who's not a terrible worker, and you're just flying around, going all over, going wild. But we got Kidman, Ray hitting his spots, Sydal flying around, being the high flyer, Benjamin hitting suplexes, Leppan doing some, hitting some big moves of his own, Kidman, Helms being, the heels they are. But eventually what happens is, we get the Sydal gets, caught off on his own. Eventually, Nightmare on Elm Street, Kid Crusher, foot on the ropes, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, things broken up. But eventually, Kidman is able to hit the Kid Crusher on Rey Mysterio Jr. with some help from Ray Leppan holding his legs down. But 1, 2, 3, cheats to win. Kidman gets the win, basically over Rey Mysterio Jr., mostly cleanly, as, he just can't kick out. As gets an 84, Benjamin gets an 84, Sydal gets a 76, Rey Jr. gets a 94, Leppan gets an 87, Helms gets an 88, Kidman gets a 92, and post-match, the heels celebrate to a 76. And then we're backstage. Oof. Wait, why is Paul London unhappy? Okay, interesting. We probably need to make old Paul happy here, so I'll do that in a minute. That's interesting. Yikes. Okay, so this will be the interview where London basically went over, how they're underdogs and they're going to take on O'Haire and Jindrak in a big match later tonight. But basically, London, I guess, threw some true comments about being the main event a year ago. Now he's doing these tag matches, and he's going to prove he deserves to be more than that, and in a more shooty way. Well, Evans probably looks confused and tries to put over the actual angle, which is him and London, despite being small underdogs, are very successful. London being U.S. Tag Champion and being in the Mayhem Finals last year and being Eddy Guerrero at the Darkade. But yeah, this did not go the way it was written out. That's unfortunate. This gets a 65. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Then we have a tag match as Blonde Ambition defeat Madison Eagles and Madison Sinclair up from our Dev Fed, doing the job here. As this gets a 54. Pretty straightforward squash win. Natty gets the sharpshooter on Madison Eagles to get the win. Natty gets a 44. Angel Fox gets a 73. Madison Eagles gets a 41. And Madison Sinclair gets a 41. And Madison Eagles gets a 39. Decent little match here just to put over the, one of our babyface tag teams. And then afterwards, they take the mic, and Natty says, all right, you just saw what Blonde Ambition is all about. And after a win like that, I think it's time we make things clear. Molly Mayhem, TEW, sick, you've been holding on those women tag team champions, and we think it's time for a change. And then, Angel Fox says, that's right. Molly, Messina, you might have beaten other people, but you haven't beaten Blonde Ambition yet, so how about you bring those titles to the ring, and we'll show you who the real best team is here. But then, instead of their music hits, Social Scene music hits, and the four women's tag team champions come out to the ramp, as, Nikki Radcliffe says, whoa, hold up. Did I hear that right? Blonde Ambition just say they want to start women's tag titles? Because last time I checked, there's a little team called Social Scene that's some unfinished business with European Disunion. And then, Annie steps and says, yeah, we lost those titles to them. We've been fighting to earn another shot. And hey, no offense, but if anyone's getting those next shots of those belts, it's going to be us. And then Natty responds, look, we get it. You've been champions before, but that doesn't change the fact it's our time now. We've been on a roll, and we've earned the right to challenge for those titles. And then, Angel Fox says, no hard feelings. You've had your chance, but now it's our term. Molly and Messina are going to have to deal with the two of us if they want to keep those titles. And Nikki's like, you're right. You've been doing great. I respect that. but if you really deserve that next shot more than us, why don't we settle this next week right here in the ring? Following Invasion results are seen, and the winners get Molly and Messina at Bash at the Beach. And, Natty agrees and says next week we'll show you why Blonde Ambition is the future of the division. And, Nikki, smiles and says, that's fine, but after we're done, we're going to party all night long, and you're welcome to join us. So, basically just setting up a tag match for next week, which this all gets a 56, because I rated everybody, and some are better at promos than others. Then we get another Osei Skipper video in Ghana, basically, going over there in Ghana, and they're coming back soon, rested, ready, and more focused than ever. 45, just pretty straightforward here. And we have the setup here as Keenan Sharp comes down to the ring. As, and he basically, puts, goes over his, the same thing he's been doing before with his wacky, stuff about being the Age of Enlightenment. But now it's time for someone to be the first inductee into the Age of Enlightenment and for me to show them the path forward. But I just need a volunteer to be ready to be shown into the correct age. Boo, of course, because Sharp's, doing his cult leader gimmick, but even more wacky than before. And after a moment, Booker T comes down, and he comes down to the ring, and, Keenan is about to say something when Booker T just, hits him, and the match is on, and this gets a 93. There you go. Nothing fancy here, just, big straightforward match here. But in the match itself, Keenan Sharp gets the win over Booker T in about 8 minutes with submission. Nothing too fancy here. Booker T gets his spots in, but eventually Sharp, runs him down, hits some moves, and locks in a sort of modified crossface. And with nowhere to go, Booker T has to tap out cleanly, and Keenan Sharp gets the victory here on his return to Revolution after about a month or so. Booker gets 67 because of his injury. Sharp gets an 83. Match overall gets a 79. Then, Sharp, doesn't keep the hold on. He just, raises his arms and nods at Booker T's fallen body before walking out of the ring, and that gets a 67. Then we're backstage with the entirety of the Thrillers. As, Palumbo is up, in front of O'Haire and Jindrak. He says, all right, listen up. Tonight isn't about a match, about sending a message to everyone out there, especially that loudmouth Angle. He thinks he can come to our territory and mess with us. He thinks he can take on the Thrillers and walk away. No, we're not going to beat London Evans tonight. We're going to break them. And O'Haire steps up and says, you're right. You see, I'm waiting for a chance to make an example out of someone, and London Evans just volunteered for the job. They can fly around the ring, flip and flop their way away. Not tonight. Tonight they're going to find out what happens when speed meets power with me, a former world champion, and Magnificent Mark. We've crushed guys like them before, and we'll do it again. And if Angle's watching, he better take notes, because what happened to London Evans tonight is just a taste of what's in store for him. And Plum was like, that's the spirit, boys. Love and Evans, they're scrappy. I'll give them that. They've got the heart, but we've got the muscle. And tonight, remind everybody why the Thrillers are the most dominant force on Revolution. We didn't build this show just to let some wannabe underdogs come in and steal the spotlight. This isn't some fairy tale, and it sure as hell isn't a story with a happy ending for them. So here's the deal. Tonight isn't just about a win. Check mark. It's about domination. I want London to remember who left them lying in that ring. I want them to know no matter how fast they move, no matter how high they fly, they're not getting away from the Thrillers. And Angle, he needs to see we're not just a 10 gang tough guys. No, we're the ones running Revolution. And, O'Haire says, London Evans are so clever, so quick, but we're going to drag them down to the ground and show them what real power looks like. And we're done with them. Old Kurtz realized he stepped into the wrong fight. But Plum was like, that's what I like to hear. Now go out there and show those boys what the Thrillers are all about. Show them that nobody messes with us and gets away with it. 81, pretty good promo here. Actually rated everybody, so that's why it was brought down, but fun stuff still. Oops, let's try that again. Then we got Dean Malenko getting absolutely destroyed by Don Frye in 2 minutes with a cross arm breaker. Just a complete squash here. Gets a 62. Don Frye gets a 71. And, as Frye gets up, Kanyon comes out of nowhere, attacking him. And eventually Kanyon has him locked in for the Kanyon cutter, but at the last moment, Frye pushes him away, and the brawl continues until W's officials like Teddy Long, Dusty Rhodes, Johnny Ace, and referees come down and pull them apart as the crowd pops. And, Kanyon was trying to get his revenge on Don Frye here, as this gets an 83. And then we have a promo here as, Alli Danger comes down to the ring, and she says, all right, cut the music. Hey, Long, I don't have all night. Get out here and give me my answer, or are you too scared to step into the danger zone? And, Alli says, come on, Teddy. I've been for days to hear what you've got. I've been busting my butt here, taking down every so-called contender, and it's time I got my shot at the WCW Women's Championship. So why don't you just stop wasting my time and get out here? But Teddy Long music doesn't. Instead, the WCW Women's World Champion Alyssa Alexander's music hits, and she comes down to the ring, and he says, Alli, I hear you loud and clear. You've been out here demanding answers, throwing a little temper tantrum, but I don't think you need to wait for Teddy Long, because the way I say it, I'm the one you should be talking to. See, we've both come up in the same scene, fighting in front of a couple hundred people or less, traveling from one place to another, all to make a name for ourselves. And now we're both here in WCW. You know what the difference is, Alli? I don't forget where I come from. I didn't forget what it means to respect this business. You don't know how you deserve a shot at this championship? Well, if you want that shot, I'll give it to you, but you have to wait for Teddy Long to give you an answer. I'm right here. I'm ready to accept your challenge for Bash at the Beach. I was like, you think you're going to walk in the Bash at the Beach with that belt and walk out the same way? Alyssa, you might be the champ now. You're not ready for me. I'm not some charity case looking for respect. I'm the future of this division. I've got no problem taking you into the danger zone to try and do that. And this is like, you can do whatever you want. Well, Alli, it's going to take a lot more than a few harsh words and your kendo stick to take that title away from me. I faced tougher opponents than you, and I've beaten them. So if you think you were going to scare me, you're in for a rude awakening, Alli. And Alyssa's like, you talk a big game, but you know what? All that respect you keep going about, it doesn't mean a damn thing when you step in that ring. At Bash at the Beach, I'm taking the title from you. I'm going to be doing it by any means necessary. You might be the champ now, but you're stepping into the danger zone. Alyssa's like, bring everything you've got. Bring the cheap shots. Bring your violence. Bring your aggression. Bring the attitude. Because I'm bringing everything that made me the WCW Women's Champion. It's all said and done. You're going to learn why I'm the champ and you're not. I'm going to stare down, and the match is set. And I actually just need to do a little bit of pre-booking, which I hit the wrong button, but we will ignore that in pre-booking here. So, right, we have nothing basically pre-booked, which I probably should do real quick. Come on. You can do it. I got faith in you. There we go. Okay, yeah. Come on. There we go. So yeah, that match set. Oh, okay. Well, that's something I forgot. Oh well. Guess the rest of the show is just gonna have to be good. Is that maybe why I didn't do a feud between them? Well, that's unfortunate. Alright. And yeah, we got our tag belts. And I'm sure there's other matches that I've like all but officially said. I just need to figure them out. Ray and Matt taking on Billy Kidman and Shane Helms, not Billy Goldberg. And the tag titles, of course, on the line. There we go. Alright, and now let's go back to the show. And then we got a backstage confrontation. As, AJ and Monty basically run into each other backstage, because that's what happens in pro wrestling. As Monty's like, look what it is, the so-called face that runs this place. I hope we're keeping that belt nice and warm, because AJ, I'm taking it Bash at the Beach, and I'll show why I'm the baddest man on the planet. AJ's, look, you can keep talking and talking, Monty, but I'm still sitting here as a WCW World Champion. If you want this belt, you're going to have to do more than run your mouth. And Monty's like, oh, you don't worry. AJ, I'm not talking. Go show you exactly what it takes to step in the ring, the alpha male. I've got the power, I've got the momentum, and after I hit you with the pounce, there's not going to be left of the face that runs this place. And he's like, well, Monty, you think you're tough enough? Why don't you say this right here and now? No ring, just you and me. And then just as they're about to go, a sudden commotion erupts from off screen. The camera pans slightly, show Don Frye and Kanyon barreling into the hallway from the entrance, continue to brawl as two men crash into a stack of equipment cases, continuing to fight. And then, AJ and Monty look over at the brawling, and then they start fighting themselves. Eventually, in comes all four men fighting, and the officials come in a few minutes later, breaking things apart. And then after the broken apart, Teddy Long, it says, hey, that's enough players. I said, that's enough. I don't care how much you all want to fight, but you're not doing it here. want to keep each other apart? Fine, but you got to do it next week in the ring. Next week is going to be AJ Styles and Kanyon teaming up against Monty Brown and Don Frye, a tag team match. If y'all can keep it together, I'll make sure you learn how to follow the rules the hard way. You feel me? So there we go, a big tag team match set for next week, and that gets an 82. Then we have Gail Kim taking on Nikita Kalt in a very good back and forth match. Nikita and Gail Kim are both very good. We get submission holds from Nikita. Gail Kim, doing her, US Pro style. Eventually, Nikita tries to get her into the backbreaker, but Kim gets out of it. A couple of big moves from Gail Kim. Eventually, Gail Kim actually hits the Eat Defeat right in the middle of the ring and gets a pinfall victory over Nikita Kalt right here on Revolution. And a big win for Gail Kim. As this gets a 78, Gail Kim gets a 71, Nikita Kalt gets a 90. And post-match, Gail Kim celebrates as Nikita is shocked on the outside, as this gets a 69. And then we're backstage with Paul Heyman and Rob Van Dam. And, Heyman says, "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. I am the advocate for the one and only, the premier athlete in this entire industry. Last week, after Rob Van Dam determined once again why he is the most gifted, the most dynamic performer in professional wrestling by defeating Shelton Benjamin, we were rudely interrupted by some self-proclaimed harbinger of justice, Judas Mesias. Now, Rob nor I are one to shy away from competition. What we saw wasn't about competition, wasn't about wrestling. It was a man living some twisted fantasy, a man who thinks he can dictate what's right or wrong." And, Rob steps in and says, "I get it. Some people just can't handle losing gracefully. They get all wound up in their little ideas. Whatever, man. But let's face it, dude. I'm not exactly worried about some guy who crawls out of the shadows looking like he walked off the set of a horror movie." And Paul then steps in and says, "Judas, let me think one thing about it. Clear to you, Rob Van Dam, not just a stepping stone from you. He's not a victim for you to try to drag in whatever nonsense you've got going on. You see, Rob Van Dam is the number one athlete in professional wrestling today. He is the man who has redefined what it means to be extreme, to be athletic, to be the future of the sport. He's not some man going to be let into intimidated by some second-rate monster with delusions of grandeur." And Rob's like, "Hey, look, man, I get it. You got your whole vibe, creeping around in the dark, looking like you're auditioning for the next big horror flick. Me, I'm doing out here what I do best, which is stealing the show every time I step the ring. That's why they call me Mr. Wednesday Night, Mr. Pay-Per-View, and, a bunch of other awesome nicknames I won't bore you with." And Paul then continues and says, "Let's don't forget, that's when you decide to stick your nose at our business. We're dealing with the man who's afraid of the dark. You're the man who thrives in spotlights, the man who faces the toughest, the fastest, the most extreme, and most dangerous opponents in the world. And guess what? He's beaten them all, because that's what Rob Van Dam does. He wins, he adapts, he outperforms, and he leaves nothing to chance." So, and then, Pim continues, "You might think you're bringing some kind of cosmic justice, but Van Dam doesn't care about your warped sense of right and wrong. He doesn't care about your vendettas. All he cares about proving week in week that he's the best athlete in the ring. He's the number one star of the sport. You have to come after the whole effing show." And Van Dam steps in and says, "That's me, by the way. Then you better ready for disappointment, because no matter how many messages you send, how many shadows you try to hide in, you have to remember, Van Dam, you're stepping into the most gifted performer of our generation. And when the bell rings, nothing can save you by showing up by Mr. Wednesday Night." And then Van Dam says, "Look, Judas, you want a piece of me? Cool, but then for a second, I'm going to play with your rules. You're stepping my world now. I'm going to let some guy with a spooky name come and make me look for a fool. So bring wherever you want, because once it's all said and done, you're just another guy who couldn't hang with RVD." Fun promo, basically setting up this feud as gets a 92. And then we get our main event, which gets an 80. Shit. Is this the first time O'Haire and Jindrak have actually worked well as a team? Okay. So this is just a mess. Unfortunately, London Evans aren't a good team, but I'm still continuing to put them together because I'm just not giving up. And same thing with O'Haire and Jindrak. Unfortunately, they have some bad chemistry. So this match is sort of just a mess, but eventually O'Haire hits Evans with the Widowmaker. It gets an 80, Evans gets a 78, London gets a 71, Jindrak gets a 66, O'Haire gets a 71. Nothing too great here, unfortunately, but these things happen, unfortunately, sometimes with wrestling. And post-match is the fun part, as of course, after the match, O'Haire and Jindrak continue the beatdown. Plumber comes in for the, continues the beatdown. But after a moment, Kurt Angle's music hits, and out comes Kurt Angle coming down to make the save, rushing the ring, clearing things out. But eventually, and this allows, O'Haire and Jindrak to step out to the outside. Lennon Evans is a big dive. It looks like the babyfaces have the advantage, but out of nowhere comes Tyson Havoc, attacking Lennon Evans, dragging them up to the top of the ramp. Angle tries to make the save, but he's like surrounded 3-on-1 on the outside, so he can't go out there. And what happens is Jack Evans ends up being tossed off the edge of the stage by Tyson Havoc, and then Lennon takes a brutal double team powerbomb on the stage to end the show, which gets us an 85. And overall, the show itself gets us an 85 itself. Okay, so not a bad show. Main event was a little worse than I thought it would be. Probably would have been an 84 or an 85, with maybe an 83 without them not having bad chem. And yeah, I need to give Paul London some money, because he's obviously unhappy. Like, I'm still confused about what he's unhappy about, so I'll have to like figure that out for him in a moment here. But let's see here. As this loads up. Okay. Cool. Yeah, let me just like look at old Paul London here. What is he unhappy about? Paul. Look. Paul, here's some money. Oh my god. Oh right, I forgot Paul's one of the people who got the big money contract. Okay. Paul. Here. I'll take you being annoyed, okay? Because you're here for 3 years anyway. God, that's highly annoying. Anyway, storyline wise, Nitro Against the Darkness is at a 74, Captivating Nitro's at a 71, Lack of Respect's at a 95, Misty Maverick's at a 59, Never Noble, which is now the AEW, is at a 77, One Spot, Two Men's at an 88, Respect Needs to Be Earned at an 83, Tensions is at a 58, The New Chosen's at a 72, Defense and Syndicate at an 87, Enlightenment's at an 83, X-Men Horizon's at a 68, Legendary, which is now the Tag Team Feud's at an 82, Old Enemies and Friends at an 86, Thrilling Angles at a 78, 2D Trust is at an 82, and US Title Mess is at a 75. And if we look at what the WWE did for SmackDown, we had Jackie Taylor and Taylor Bradley defeat Gwen Majors at a 61. We had Devin Boy defeat Spike Dudley. We had Almighty Aaron Cartwright defeat Justice by Countout. We had Farouk, Chris Jericho, and Brock Lesnar defeat Val Venus, Shannon Ballard, and Basher. Sure, I hope that was a squash. Gladiator defeated Billy Gunn. Taker defeated Rikishi. And Regal and Steiner defeated Benoit and Christian in a cage match, which got a 95, because of course it did. If we then will look at our Dev Fed, at NWA Wildside, TV show, Brian Danielson defeated Paul Burchill in the latter's debut here in Wildside. Hotza Fernandez, Morgan Duarte defeat Burke, Stallings, and Brett Major. TJ Perkins defeated Austin Creed by DQ. Todd Sexton and John Phoenix defeated Tony Jones and Onyx. And then on the weekly house show, Hot Stuff, Morgan Duarte defeats Stallings, Danielson, and Major. TJ Perkins defeated Onyx for the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship, which is interesting. John Phoenix defeated Austin Creed. And Lazarus defeated Tony Jones. For American Wrestling Queens, we had the weekly show. It was highlighted by Porsche Perez and Amy Secure defeated Matt Eagles and Amazing Kong, retaining the AEW tag titles. And then at Ladies Night, we had Sarah Del Rey defeated Catherine Mendoza in her debut in AWQ. We had Porsche Perez defeat Amazing Kong at 55. And then Osaki retained the AWQ title in a 4-way over Amy Sakura, Matt Sinclair, and Michelle McCool. And that's basically, yeah, that's it. HWA is doing HWA things. And Ohio Valley is doing the same. Trent Baker's still your OVW champion. If we then look around the wrestling world, if we go back to last week. All right, okay, so Tormund X had the Yamaha Cup, which was won by Villanova 4 and Torrent and Negro defeated Pachi 2 and Super Mega. Lucha. Maishi Mosuki defeated Demon 666 in the main event. And so there we go. That's that. Let's see here. Was there any other big shows? I forget really. You think I remember this stuff, but I don't. GSQ had a big show. Bray Wyatt defeated Petey Williams. Tornado defeated some guy named El Generico. I'm sure he'll do nothing in his business. And Rene Dupree is still there, and he might never get signed. Let's see here. Big Japan had a big show. Suzuki and Hama defeated Shishisha and Manabu Nakanishi. And yeah, that's it. Not a whole big week outside of that. But yeah, like I said, you know, the first week of the mid-year awards are up. And like I said, I'll do my usual like big overview of the whole wrestling world when we turn over to W9. But that's all for now. So, you know, if you enjoyed the show, go ahead and you know, give it a like. Comment below what you're liking and not liking. It's our channel for this series, my TEW9 Pittsburgh Steel Wrestling series, which is now on Wednesdays. But that's it for now. So talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.